morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome to the Tobago Updates morning show. I just hope that you all had a wonderful weekend. We're so happy to see you again for another week here at Tobago Updates. I trust that the Tobago Carnival weekend was fun and enjoyable no matter what you do, whether you took part in the mass, whether you were able to just take some time at home and relax with your family or go out to the beach. I hope that whatever you did, you had a safe and wonderful time and you are ready for another week of work. So before we get started in today's show, I am Candice Jackson and I'm going to be taking you through this morning. So before we get started, we're going to get straight on into our news in 90 seconds with Miss Bianna Brebner.
Thank you, Candice. I am Bianna Brebner and here is your news in 90 seconds for Tuesday, 31st October 2023. Secretary of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, Tasha Boris, expect the second carnival to cost less than the budgeted $12.5 million. The carnival, which took place last weekend, featured traditional masquerade and a lively parade of bands. Boris is cautiously optimistic about the budget's compliance with final calculations pending. She praised this year's carnival for the increased local participation, improved event quality, and a blend of tradition and contemporary elements. Additionally, she was pleased by the iconic Minstrel characters' participation and felt that this year's carnival surpassed the previous one in terms of quality and overall experience. Technical advisor in the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, Dr. Charleston Thomas, rejected criticism from NCC Chairman Winston Gypsy Peters regarding this year's Tobago October Carnival. During an interview in Scarborough, Peters stated that the NCC's involvement in production was limited as no one sought their assistance. Meanwhile, Thomas emphasized Tobago's principal responsibility for its carnival and noted that their request to the NCC with road management and costume transportation had gone unanswered. And finally, Minority Leader Kelvon Morris, in a recent post on social media, expressed satisfaction and support for the organizers of the recently concluded Tobago October Carnival. Morris acknowledged while Tobago's October Carnival is only in its second year, with room for improvement, the carnival has potential to become a significant event on the global carnival calendar and a valuable source of foreign exchange for the island and the nation. However, his hope is that the feedback about the carnival will be heeded and collaboration will be embraced for the mutual benefits and the necessary adjustments will be made to enhance and expand the experience in 2024. And that concludes your news in 90 seconds.
Bianna and viewers, we are now going to go straight on into our birthdays for this morning. So to get us off started, we are saying our happy birthdays to the Secretary of Education, Research and Technology, Ms. Dorisha Hackett. So a very happy special birthday to you from us here at Tobago Updates. Up next, we have Mr. Jordan Lord, who is also celebrating his birthday today. So a happy birthday to you. And Miss Malika Kava Andrews, and I hope I got that right. Very happy birthday to you. Miss Abby Allen Moore of Spring Street in Charlottesville. And she is the auntie and mother of Franz Job. So a very special happy birthday to you from Tobago Updates. So that's it for our birthdays this morning. And viewers, we're going to get straight on into our Tobago in Focus. So before we go, remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
One of the major learning curves encountered during the COVID-19 pandemic was the increased use of innovation and technology to conduct daily functions. This major hurdle affected the country's education sector tremendously, with teachers, students, and parents having to quickly find ways to continue teaching and learning using these means. Post-pandemic, the Division of Education, Research and Technology is finding ways to integrate online and in-person learning and teaching, thus establishing the Hybrid Education Committee.
A committee was put together, made up of persons within the Division of Education, principals, parents, etc., a large, varied stakeholder group, and we are working towards developing a very pragmatic policy guideline to help us to utilize all of the positive things that we got through the pandemic, along with our face-to-face.
This new initiative seeks to reduce teaching and learning loss due to several factors, such as unpredictable weather patterns or another pandemic situation. From early childhood to tertiary level education are represented on the committee, with multi-departmental input and expertise from the division. Technical advisor from DIRTEC, Natasha Second, assured that this initiative is not just another talk shop, and the committee is well on its way to fulfill a seamless integration among all educational institutions on the island.
We wanted to look at all of the challenges and place a solution for each of them. So the guideline or the policy guidelines will meet all of the challenges that we could perceive of.
Ms. Second revealed that the committee, formed in April 2023, has a 6-month implementation deadline, which will include a pilot project in selected schools and the delivery of the completed policy and guidelines.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Well, the Tobago Updates morning show, I should say. But anyways, viewers, getting straight on into our show for this morning, we are being joined by the Secretary of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, Councillor Tashia Grace Burris. Good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning, Candice. Thank you for having me, and good morning to your viewers. I think we're all very tired.
Certainly. I know you were in all of the events as much as possible, having a good time then.
Well, not even having a good time, actually working, because this year's carnival was really managed by a very small core planning committee, the technical lead of which was Dr. Charleston Thomas, but myself as secretary really kind of pulling the experts into the space to put on, I think, one of the best editions of a Tobago carnival that Tobago has ever seen.
So we had quite a lot of issues that came out of last year's edition for the carnival, and I know this year the focus was, let's see how we can make it better as we try to form the identity of what Tobago Carnival should look like. Do you think that you achieved some of that goal for this year?
Most definitely. We had several goals that we set coming out of our first staging of Carnival last year. We had several reports that were generated from that committee, generated from the consultant, generated from a couple of people who we asked to kind of weigh in from an outsider's perspective what they thought about the staging of the Carnival. And then obviously we had numerous amounts of stakeholder consultations in the lead up to this Carnival. Some of the goals that we set in terms of this year's edition was increasing the amount of local participation, getting more Tobagonians to participate in Carnival, whether it be in the events, whether it be in the actual parades, certainly from an economic perspective in terms of people seeing the opportunities that a carnival generates, and I think that was most definitely achieved. In addition to that, we looked at getting more corporate sponsorship, which we also achieved. We looked at solving some of the major logistics challenges we had. So we had a decentralized carnival last year. We centralized everything in Scarborough, and I think that was the best decision. It really solved a lot of the challenges that came out of having the carnival in smaller areas that could not have taken the volume of people that wanted to come and participate. And I think that Scarborough really is the home of Tobago October Carnival. I think the persons who played mass last year and enjoyed themselves could definitely say this year they had a more enhanced experience by having the whole length of the route in Scarborough to enjoy for the carnival season. In addition to that, I think that we had an uptake in international visitors as well, because I saw a number of persons stopped me on the street, said they were from New York, they came in for the carnival, who came in from the UK, people came in from Germany, people came in from all over the world basically to enjoy what Tobago had to offer. And certainly we see that as a huge plus. And then on top of that, you had obviously Trinidad supporting in a big way, persons coming from Trinidad and really, really, you know, enjoying everything that Tobago has to offer. And I think finally the biggest win that I take away from this is the amount of love that we Tobago showed to every one of our visitors who came into the space. We showed them what Tobago love looks like, and this is the Tobago love that I grew up knowing about. We put on the harvest face basically, and we rolled out the red carpet, and I think that's one of the things that everybody that I've spoken to has been talking about, the fact that they came here, they felt so safe, they felt welcome, the customer service was excellent. You know, all of the events that they attended were of a very high quality. We improved on our ability to execute events better this year. So I think overall we had a truly, we grew, we demonstrated that we grew, we demonstrated that we listened to a lot of the advice that we got. And I think that that sets a very solid foundation for next year's staging.
Now, before we get into the rest of the carnival conversation, I want to touch on a little comment, or a little headline, I should say, that generated quite a lot of attention yesterday.
Yeah.
And that was in regards to some of the comments that the chairman of NCC, Mr. Winston Gypsy Peters, what he would have said about carnival and collaboration that THA needed to have with NCC and all of that. So I just want to give you a chance to address that.
Well, we put out a press release yesterday afternoon to clear the air, basically. You know, I think people remember what happened last year. You know, he kind of came out in a particular way. And for me, I always believe that people should kind of leave Tobago to see what Tobago can do on its own. And it's really about growing our capacity to be able to do things on our own. And not that we refuse people's help or we refuse collaboration, but definitely we would not be bullied into collaborating with people. And then this year, I extended the olive branch. I actually reached out to NCC in July and had a conversation with their Tobago commissioner. And that conversation led to a formal meeting with Mr. Peters and some of his board members and some of the technical team planning the carnival. And we laid on the table exactly what we required from them. We required training in logistics, road management, procurement, and we asked them to coordinate and sponsor the participation of the kings and queens in the parade. Needless to say, those conversations, we sent the proposal to them, we did everything they asked, and as of yet, we were never formally acknowledged in terms of receipt of those proposals. We tried to follow up by phone, and you know, and after a while, time was going away, and we couldn't wait on them to give us any kind of commitment. So we had to find these resources on our own, and I must thank the persons that stepped up to fill that gap in terms of training. You know, we had to find resources internal to the companies that we have. We also had to find some external sources to help with that. And, you know, I mean, that door was never closed, but by his own admission, I saw him on the day of the parade. You know, he said to me, you know, they were very busy promoting carnival in Trinidad. They were always out of the country. They were in New York. They were in Miami. He was in Colombia and stuff. And I understand all of that. It's a lot of work to promote Trinidad Carnival. And most definitely for us, you know, if it is that they feel that they still have something that we can utilize, again, that door is, despite his comments, I mean, for me, I just put that in isolation versus the rest of the positive comments that we got. And not just the positive comments, but also recommendations from persons who said, look, I was on the road. Maybe you all could look at this. Maybe you could do this if you need this. And that's the thing. When you kind of just let things happen the way that they should, things happen for you. There are a number of organizations who have now come forward and said, look, we see what all are doing. We see that you all have tried. We see where all want to go with this. We want to help. So we're not pigeonholed in accepting help from anybody at this point. We literally just have a number of entities, a number of persons in space who are willing to come on board and help us improve this product. So we wish NCC all the best because Trinidad Carnival is on the horizon. They're launching this weekend. So anybody who's in Trinidad this weekend, they could go and see what NCC has to offer. And certainly we in Tobago, we will continue to do what we have to do. We will continue to mind our business here, drink our water and mind our business. I will continue to mind the people's business. Definitely, most of the recommendations that we have been getting, we can take on board immediately so that we are looking forward to improving on this year's product and having a 2024 that is even grander than what we had this year.
Will there be a debriefing period?
Yes. There has to be a number of debriefings. So there's going to be a debriefing with the core team. There's going to be a debriefing with the security personnel, and I think they have already started having their debriefing, but we would have to have a debriefing with them. There's also going to be a comprehensive post-mortem that will include all of the stakeholders who were part of the planning process as well, for them to give their feedback as to their area that they're responsible for. How did it go for them? What would be their recommendations going forward, things like that. And we are also soliciting feedback from persons who have been part of the parade. So we've already sent out thank you emails to our band leaders for participating. We've asked them to send their feedback to us in terms of how we could enhance the experience for them next year, anything that we could improve on. And certainly for us, we would want to continue to solicit feedback from members of the public as to what they saw and what they think that we could do better, how they enjoyed the experience. We're actually collecting a lot of the positive comments because we want to use that as part of our marketing as well. So a lot of conversations have to happen between now and the end of the month, but planning for 2024 has essentially already started.
Grand, that's good news. And of course, because in case you haven't seen the ads that were out there, the 25th to the
27th of October,
yes.
2024, yes.
All right, great. Now, one of the conversations that has been taken up on social media was that whether or not we should leave all the carnival events in Scarborough. And I know you mentioned it earlier that it seems as though Carnival has found its home in Scarborough.
Yeah, found back. Well, originally that was the home, and I think that one of the things that a carnival does is revitalizes the capital, and I think we were able to achieve that. I have not seen the amount of vendors that we had in this space in ages, and I grew up in Scarborough, so I should know. Certainly for me, it was a full circle moment, being very nostalgic about how carnival used to look in the early 90s. Before, people started to move in other places and people started to build up other communities, and then other communities started having their own carnival celebrations. For me, again, we are still part of Trinidad and Tobago, so there will be a carnival celebration in February nationally. And for me, we could support what is happening in other communities in February. So if Crown Point wants to have something, definitely we could look at supporting that. Roxborough wants to have what they want to have, we could look at supporting that. Any community that wants to celebrate the carnival nationally in some way, shape, or form, we can look at supporting community activations in February. But I think the home of Tobago October Carnival is in Scarborough.
All right, great. Now, what about some of the events that took place over the weekend? Now, we saw that the night mass wasn't really so subscribed.
Actually, it was very good. I don't know what you were looking at. I was right there. No, yeah. The thing about, let me just say, we had few bands registering. But I would tell you that for the few bands that we had registered, they had a large group of players in each band. And I think that traditionally night mass is something that started to grow, and then I think there was some kind of plateau that took place. But I think based on what I saw on Saturday night, there is definitely an appetite for what night mass gives, because you have the Juve, which was what it was. According to the young people, it was a movie. And when you look at the thousands of people that came on the streets for Juve, early morning hot sun, there are some people who do not like the sun at all. They can't get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So night mass seems to be more their speed. So when you look at what Pan and Powder gave in terms of getting the people who love the steel band and the older demographic of persons to come out and support, night mass, I think, is a growing thing. It's something that we will continue to support. We will definitely encourage the participation of more divisions of the THA to bring bands, because the Division of Tourism, we brought a band, Island Jumbies. It was a huge success. Thank you to all the staff who participated. I'm sure they had a ball. And we had a number of other bands, Pandora, we had Emerge, we had Country Bookie, we had some good quality night mass bands, and they looked beautiful on the road, the white and the glow so I think this is something that will continue to grow. Certainly in terms of spectatorship, there was a huge amount of persons in Scarborough spectating for the night mass. And again, the thing that we will continue to focus on is encouraging Tobagonians to participate in Carnival. Pretty mass mightn't be a speed, but certainly Juve, the speed for some, and certainly night mass for the people who are really not into the hot sun early morning kind of thing. Yes. And I think for our second year, I'm very pleased with the growth of the events in general. And as I said, it sets the stage, I think, for a very exciting 2024.
And then in terms of the budget, so I know the budget was about
$12.5 million.
$12.5 million. Now, was that all spent for the carnival, or?
To be honest, I don't think so. I don't want to put myself on record.
So we're coming out under budget.
Again, because last year we came out under budget, and this year well, we're actually in the process of reconciling. So we're doing that this week. We'll be reconciling what we have outside, because what we did was we got some funds to mobilize. So we paid on some stuff in advance, but we will do that reconciliation exercise this week. But I don't believe that we've exhausted the entire budget. We kind of left a lot of room in different line items just in case, because one of the things that we recognize that there's a huge difference that a year makes. You can't take it for granted that the cost of a good or service that you paid for last year will be the same cost of a good or service this year. And when you factor in inflation, you factor in the fact that we now have this procurement legislation in place. You now have a limited amount of suppliers to choose from. We're gonna continue to have a situation when it comes to pricing of goods and services. So, I mean, for us, it's all about managing the expenses prudently. It's about managing expectations as well. And for us, we just want our Tobago suppliers to come on board and support everything that the THA is doing, because ideally we want to spend all our money in Tobago. We don't want to have to, because one of the things that has come out of this procurement regime is that our procurement staff in our divisions and our companies are going to look at price as a huge factor in terms of determining who gets a job. So if we have to open that tender out to not just suppliers in Tobago, but suppliers in Trinidad, price is one of those factors that we really cannot compete on. You're going to always have suppliers in Trinidad who could come in at a cheaper price. But what we want to do is ensure that money circulates in Tobago. We want to ensure that we get the bulk of our goods and services from suppliers in Tobago. So we only just kind of asking them to meet us, somewhere in the middle, because, I mean, if it gets down to the place where we only looking at price, then a lot of the money is going to go out of the island, and we don't want that. We want to support our homegrown businesses. We want to support our small businesses and our entrepreneurs. So, and we just will continue to, as far as we can, support them and use them for all of the events that we would like to do.
And we're going to expand on that topic a little bit when we come back after this break. So viewers, please don't go anywhere. And in the meantime, share the live, share the live, share the live.
Who would I ever believe Jessica could take care of a child?
I know, right? I'm a kinship foster parent to my nephew Malik.
Papa, you remind me of my grandmother, when she used to take care of my cousins.
If I didn't step in, I don't know where he would have ended up. Plus, I get support from Children's Authority, training, and counseling.
But Jessica, you not married?
That doesn't matter. Once you have a safe home and you're related to the child, you're good.
So they just gave money to do this?
Yeah, they do give me some money.
So, Auntie, you can buy all my games for me?
Oh, I'm so sorry, Malik, but that money's to take care of you. Okay, smubble up, yes.
I will not try. Mommy, you can buy.
No.
Wait, I didn't even finish my sentence.
About Lamborghini, you could get lamb stew for lunch.
Auntie Jessica could only come when you come in, because all them does do is talk people business.
Malakay, I'm only going on the bed.
But Mommy, the boy don't even live here.
Yeah, go to your bunkers.
What? Bunkers? Where's that?
I think I'm getting pretty good at this.
Hey, hello guys, welcome. Come have a seat. Oh, this is so stylish and I love the fabric. Darlings, you must tell us where you got your new furnishings.
We got them locally at Standard. They've got new chic European furniture, crafted from high quality material.
Oh, Standard?
No, it's Standard, their brand new Hive collection.
Experience luxurious European furniture at a price you will love. The Hive Collection, now exclusively available at Standard.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, Good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, we are continuing our conversation this morning with the Secretary of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, Mr. Shahir Boris, as we talk about Tobago Carnival. Yes, because Tobago Carnival was this weekend, just in case you were living under a rock. That would have been a very huge rock somewhere.
Somebody would have moved the rock by now.
Certainly. And before we went to the break, we were talking a little bit about the finances of Carnival. And you know, just getting to understand how much of Tobagonians, entrepreneurs, business persons would have benefited from the spend this year. And I know you were talking about some challenges, like in terms of making sure that we have following the Procurement Act and so on. So I want you to expand on that because there is that criticism out there that a lot of the money that was spent for Tobago Carnival did not go into the hands of Tobagonians.
Okay, and that is very much incorrect. I don't even know who's fueling that rumor, because if you look around all of the events and you look at the service providers, you see almost 100% of the service providers that we would have in our events are from Tobago. From the people who are providing the stage, the people providing the lighting, for the people who are doing the tents, the people who are doing the chairs and the tables, the people providing decor, the people doing the branding, the people who are doing the catering and hospitality. All of these are Tobagonians. Actually, I can tell you right now, based on what I am aware of, that in terms of the activation in Trinidad that we had to use some Trinidad suppliers for that, because we had to mobilize pretty quickly and we had to get things happening down there. So it was easy for us to have that done in Trinidad. And the merchandise, the beautiful merchandise that everybody's seeing in the volumes that people wanted to get their hands on it, we also had to use a Trinidad supplier for that because of the sheer volume of merchandise. I mean, certainly economies of scale is a challenge because the few businesses in Tobago that treat with that sort of thing were already overwhelmed with other jobs for the carnival for us. So adding that job on top of what they had to do, it would have stretched their capacity beyond their own limits. So there are few things based on just simply resource challenges that we would have to find suppliers to outsource to in Trinidad. But outside of that, as far as humanly possible, it's a policy of the division, it's a policy of this administration to use as many Tobago suppliers as we can. So I don't know where that rumor has come out from, but certainly the bulk of the budget is always being spent in Tobago. But I think seeing the sheer volume of what a Tobago Carnival could bring to the space economically, it's an opportunity for people to get involved in business. I would give you a case in point. Over the weekend, I was getting calls. Ms. Boris, we have no ice. Ice? What do you mean you don't have any ice? I'm like, we went to Tadco. They said that they have this huge order to fill for a promoter. We can't get any ice. We have a small bar on the side of the road. We're doing this, and when you think about something as simple as not being able to get ice in the quantities that you would like, it says to me that whatever happened in the space in the last week leading up to Carnival exhausted the resources that we had on island. Similar to what happened last year in certain instances, because we had so many fetes. So you had tent providers literally picking up tents from one event to go and run to scramble for another event. So these things show that when you have events of this magnitude, they literally stretch the resources that you have. Are we looking at the opportunities that are being created by these things? When we look at the amount of people coming into the island, again this year, people calling my phone. You know anybody who rents in a car? You know anybody? And everybody that I know, all their cars are gone. So every single person who probably had a rental within a particular radius from Scarborough didn't have any cars available to rent. So when you again look at what we're trying to do, which is to utilize the events tourism sector to redound us post-COVID, because that's really the overarching strategy. I mean, a lot of people don't understand how I think. I am not a limer. I'm not really very outgoing in terms of being present in events because I'm always working. Because the thing for me is that I have a huge mandate, which is to recover this sector post-COVID. And I cannot relax. I cannot party. I can't do these things unless I feel comfortable that we have achieved the thing that we have to achieve. And we ain't there yet. We're not there by a long shot, because when I see the rest of the Caribbean and I see what they have been able to accomplish, because they simply didn't close as long as we did, Tobago has a lot more work to do. But what I can say is, based on what I saw with the carnival over this weekend, we're on the right track. So that what the strategy is for me is that we build the demand for the destination, and we see the demand building, because everything coming up on the boat was subscribed, everything coming up on the plane was subscribed. We had our international flights coming in full with tourists, international tourists landing directly on the island. We have to create situations where people need to want to have to come to Tobago, and that has to be month on, every month for the entire year. And when you do that, it means that now we build the demand, we build up our capacity to host beautiful events, because it's not just the THA. The promoters did an excellent job. The people who did fringe events did an excellent job. So we're not just depending on the THA to be the only one that is going to be doing stuff in this space. Other people are stepping up to the plate. The mass bands, they stepped up to the plate. You know, the service providers, the stakeholders, they stepped up to the plate. So now that we know that we've created a very solid ecosystem of people who can support the events tourism industry. The THA now on the back end is fixing all the other things, fixing the infrastructure, doing our organizational transformation to attract the kind of talent we need to grow and develop the sector. Also treating with the standards and the regulations, which is a longer term challenge that we would have to fix and more on a national level. And certainly, as I said, us putting on our harvest face and showing people Tobago love. Because it's not even just about customer service, it's literal. We know how to be nice to people. We know how to roll out the red carpet. We don't have an issue with customer service. We just have to become passionate about making people feel welcome, making people feel happy, and showing them the best that Tobago has to offer.
And then what about in terms of Caribbean Airlines and addressing that issue? Because, I mean, clearly we could have had more people coming to Tobago.
Yeah. I mean, let me tell you something, hindsight is 2020. I think for me, again, I would always say Caribbean Airlines has their mandate, right? What that mandate is, some days I'm not sure, but they have their mandate, right? They came in the last week as a gold sponsor. So we got some cash, we got some branding, they got some giveaways and stuff. All that is fine. I wanted, for me, because I'm not going to continue to have this back and forth in the media about Caribbean Airlines. Maybe Caribbean Airlines just needs some more convincing. So I hope that what happened over the weekend was enough to convince whoever sits at the level of the board and the management of Caribbean Airlines that they need to do better when it comes to Tobago. Because there are people who want to come here. There are people who want to enjoy what we have to offer. Tobago can continue to contribute to the economy of Trinidad and Tobago by way of growing and expanding our tourism sector. And in order for us to do that, we need airlift. And I just hope that with the amount of rave reviews that we've been getting about the Tobago Carnival and about Tobago in general, that CALS sees Tobago not as a burden, but rather Tobago can be a partner. We can continue to help market Caribbean Airlines. We can continue to partner with them to grow the tourism sector and grow the numbers coming to the destination, and most definitely connecting Tobago to the rest of the Caribbean, because we have already had interest from persons living in other Caribbean territories who want to come and visit Tobago for Carnival. We have had calls from the UK, from France, from as far as Japan, for people who are interested in getting to Tobago to experience Tobago Carnival. So when you talk about the fact that there seems to be a very real demand in the space for what Tobago has to offer, then Caribbean Airlines needs to step up to the plate. And I hope that we did a great job of convincing them of the value of the Tobago tourism product, the value of what Tobago has to offer in general, and we fall in line with their entire marketing campaign of welcome home. Tobago has become like home for so many persons, and we just need to ensure that people could come here, have a great time, and when they need to get back to where they actually live, that they can do so when they need to.
Do you have any data as yet about the numbers of people that came here for Tobago?
No, I don't have any data as yet. I'm actually waiting because people are still here.
Yes,
so,
still here.
We had a number. We had an official Ash Monday yesterday. So people are still here, and people will People started to leave yesterday. I saw some people starting to leave Sunday. They missed a real good time. And then the bulk of the people, I think, would start leaving today. Some are leaving tomorrow. In fact, some have a plan to stay the entire week. So I don't think that I'm going to get anything maybe before the end of the week. Maybe by early next week, we will start to see some numbers coming in. But again, for us, based on just looking at it from face on, I can safely say that we certainly increased the amount of Tobago participation, which I'm very, very happy for. I can certainly say that we would see an uptick in our direct international visitor arrivals, and there would have been a number of international visitors who came over via the domestic air bridge as well. And certainly the amount of Trinidadians in the space, I must give kudos to the Port Authority of Trinidad and Tobago. They really, really, really performed yeoman service. I mean, they're my former employers, and I could always depend on them to do what they need to do when it comes to Tobago. They put on the extra sailings, made the extra seats available. Their staff is always, I think, working above and beyond duty to get people to move between the islands. And, you know, one of the biggest positives and advantages that they have over the airline is that they can move more people at once. And definitely the Port Authority stepped up this year again, and they really helped move the bulk of the people who needed to come to Tobago. And I'm very thankful for that. So I'm looking forward to seeing the numbers and seeing what the numbers say. But again, I hope that this year, I think this year was the year that we had to prove ourselves. Because the first year is all the buzz, everybody's excited and stuff. The first year seemed to have been easier.
Well, I mean, we were coming out of COVID. It was the first major carnival
so
event.
People were, there was a natural appetite for something like that. So this year, we actually sat down and was like, how could we make it better? Not just improving on the things that kind of went wrong, but how could we literally make it better? And I mean, even in the midst of the planning, because this was 6 months of planning, there were points in time where the criticism was, we're not hearing anything. And I'm like, okay, you're not hearing Bacchanal. That's what you're not hearing. Because, I mean, last year there was a lot of commentary surrounding the carnival. What you're not hearing is Bacchanal, because the court planning team, we worked very much behind the scenes, under wraps. Always looking at the plan and doing several iterations of the plan, and ensuring that the things that we gave energy to were the things that we could throw our entire weight of the expertise behind. And what you would recognize is that the type of events that we had, there was a variety of events, from the Queen of the Road musical to Two Co's Legends concert and competition in one, to I Love Soca David Rudder. Yeah? And then you're coming into having the festival's grounds being set up. You have our Soca Titans finals. And that was, I mean, shout out to Num Num again. Yes.
Oh,
and all of the people competed. But Soca Titans finals. And then you have Rocks Glow, which I know people from countryside, they support anything that we do in country. And then you have Pan and Powder, Rhythm, Steel and Powder, which has its built-in audience. And then you have your Juve and Night Mass, everything that the carnival gives. And it really was a snowball. Each event grew in size and number of persons. And we just felt, hey, the only thing we could do is make sure that we get it right. Once we get the events right, we get the feel right, we get the logistics right, the people would come and the people would enjoy themselves. And that's exactly what happened.
Would we see earlier promotion this year? Because, I mean, that was also one of the
challenges we had. Because, again, as I said, coming into this procurement regime, there were certain things that we could not possibly do. That's one. Secondly, we had to navigate those challenges. And based on when things started to happen, I think things happened fortuitously at the time that they needed to. There were some things I would agree that we could have done earlier, but we had some internal challenges that prevented that, right? But what I can say without a fear of contradiction is that there is no ask of earlier promotion for next year. We have started marketing Carnival for next year already. So we started with the Save the Date jerseys. We've actually run out of those jerseys. We don't have any more. They're like good goal right now.
Would we be seeing them all?
We want to run another print. We want to do another print. And we want to continue the marketing because we've already put out the Save the Date. So it means that we're looking at when we go to World Travel Market next week, we're going to be showcasing a lot of the assets that we collected from the carnival in terms of the visuals and the photos, and we'll be wearing our Save the Date jerseys on the stand. We will continue to reach out to our regional counterparts, because I will meet a number of them at World Travel Market, and ensure that we can establish a presence in the regional carnivals. So we're talking about seeing Tobago at a Vincy Mass, seeing Tobago at a Crop Over, seeing Tobago at a Spice Mass. Certainly looking at Germany in ITB and seeing how we could get some more of our carnival stakeholders to even come on that activation. Hook up with the tour operators internationally, see if we can get the packages going, the pricing going, so that we can invite more and get more international persons in to experience the carnival next year. Utilizing Tobago Day in New York in August as a huge marketing activation for our Tobago Carnival. And, you know, looking at every single place that Tobago can show up and us selling all of what we have to offer, not just a carnival, a blue food, a heritage, a Easter, whatever it is happening in Tobago. We literally want to create a huge appetite for the destination.
All right, great. I want to thank you so much, Ms. Sashia Grace Barras, for being on with us and for sharing us a little synopsis on the Tobago Carnival. And we're going to be looking forward to hearing from you a bit more because of World Travel Market coming up next week.
Yes, we leave on Friday.
Leave on Friday. Yes. And when will you guys be back?
We would be back on, I think, the following Saturday. So we're coming in over, I think that would be Remembrance Weekend.
Right.
But definitely, I think we will connect while I'm out there, because we did that last year.
And of course, we have Tobago updates.
Yes,
so.
you'll find yourselves all over the world if you need to. Yes. So we will connect during the week, and as fast as information comes to hand, we will make ourselves available to provide it. I mean, before we wrap up, I would want to express condolences publicly to the family of Mr. Carlos Dillon, losing this tourism stalwart in this time. And, you know, I think that has kind of put a damper on some of what we've experienced over the last few days. He has been a brilliant asset to the tourism sector, a esteemed son of the soil. And definitely, I want to extend condolences to his family, friends, everybody who had the opportunity to interact with him, work with him. You know, we are much poorer for his passing, but definitely I wanted to take the opportunity to say that before we wrapped up.
I want to thank you so much.
Thank you.
And of course, we at Tobago Updates also send our condolences to Mr. Dillon's family and friends. I mean, he truly was a loss. I was, you know, when he heard the news yesterday, we were just like, oh, wow. This one is a big one.
Yes.
So... certainly. But viewers, well, we're going to go for a break now. And when we come back, we'll be joined by Ms. Lizanne Wood, who's the Secretary of the Association of Female Executive of Trinidad and Tobago, as we discuss Suit Me Up 2023 in Tobago. So don't go anywhere. Remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported. moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers, welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show as we get into our next guest for this morning, and that is Ms. Lizanne Yearwood, and she's the secretary of the Association for, and you should tell me.
Yes, the secretary for the Association of Female Executives of Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning, Candice. Good morning to Tobago.
Great. Now, first of all, tell us, what is the Association of Female Executives of Trinidad and Tobago?
Okay, so the association is a not-for-profit organization that was founded in 2002. We strive to be the lead network for female executives in Trinidad and Tobago. Our mission always is to assist women in being their best selves and to be winners. And for us, we do this through the development of a community and a sisterhood where women are comfortable to share ideas and to provide services such as coaching and mentorship for young executives or young women trying to come into the world of work, and also for development through training for already established females who can, in fact, share their resources, all in an effort to improve on our personal and professional selves.
And you guys are launching or having an event coming up pretty soon called Suit Me Up.
That's correct. So Suit Me Up is one of our flagship events. It is our major fundraiser for the year, and it is a 21-year-old event. We have been hosting this event in Trinidad for the past 21 years, and for the very first time, on the 4th of November, we will be hosting this event in Tobago. So we are extremely excited about that. What Suit Me Up is, we usually put out a request for donations of clothing from corporate women. So it's more or less suits that we try to push. And through these donations of lightly used, pre-loved clothing, very often we end up with clothing that is actually brand new, still have tags on them and whatnot. And we sell these items to young women who are now entering the work world, who are trying to fill their closets, but on a budget. So this event, which is usually set up as a boutique, allows for women to come in and shop for their style, you know, and the prices are definitely suitable for your pocket because it's at ridiculously low prices. Typically purchase your suits at about $1,000, $2,000 if you want quality suits. These suits are actually going at around $200 on the day of the event. So we're definitely pushing and encouraging persons to come out, take a look and see what you can, you know, what you can get out of it. And I'm guaranteeing that you're going to be leaving there with quite a bit of items.
So is this open to just young people, or is it for females of any age?
I mean, while we are encouraging the young persons to come out and take full advantage of it, it is for anyone. All women are very much welcome to come in and participate in it. But like I said, it is geared towards the young person who, I mean, it might be an interview that you have or some big meeting that you're looking forward to, you know, presenting yourself well. This is what we're trying to encourage, your presentation. It's not just about your academics, but you also need to present well in the work environment. So it is open to everyone.
And before we get into when and where we can access these suits at discounted rates, you know, you're opening it up for donations as well.
Yes. So the only way that the event itself can be a success is if we are able to muster up enough donations from women throughout Trinidad and Tobago. So we encourage persons to go into their closets, search for those items that you haven't worn in quite a while or that may not have fit you the right way, you know, and donate. We are asking for laundered items, and we're still open to receiving these donations. Up until Thursday of this week, we would be receiving in Tobago at Unit 12, Shops of West City, which is upstairs Penny Savers in Canaan. And we do have, I think, the deadline for today. The deadline is today out of Trinidad. We're still receiving donations out of Trinidad. Mm-hmm. But we hosted the event on the 21st of October in Trinidad, and it was spectacular. You know, we had quite a few donations. We have a little bit left, and those items would be coming over to Tobago. So we're still encouraging persons to donate. We need the clothing.
So is this happening also, with the exposition happening at the West City, the store at West
No,
City?
so our venue, so the event itself is happening on Saturday, the 4th of November, which is this Saturday, and it's going to be hosted at the Division of Community Development, Youth Development and Sport, which is in Glen Road. So yes, we would be staged there from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. So sales would be happening from that point in time, and we're asking people, it is based on bargains. So you want to come out early and see what you can get. Don't wait till last minute. We have a tendency sometimes to wait until very late to participate in things like this, but I am encouraging persons to come out as early as possible to be a part of it.
And we've seen there some of the prices, and I think we should probably bring up that that ad again, in case you have not looked at these prices. So tell me just about the range that would be available.
So it is, we have premium suits that would be going at $200. We do have some of our premium blazers at $150. Regular suits at $150 as well. We're doing dresses at $50, and we have your shirts, your blouses, and your pants that would be going at $30. I mean, you could walk there with $500 and be able to get clothing that would take you through a week of work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And of course, this is happening on November 4th.
November 4th at the Division of Community Development, Youth Development and Sport from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
And for those who are willing to donate and, just to get involved and to help support your cause, how can they get in touch with you and get connected with you?
Okay, so I am also based at Penny Savers upstairs. So you can reach me at 688-7658 if you wish to make your donations. And I am encouraging, please, we still need a lot of donations to make the event a success. And we are encouraging persons to come out and be a part of the event as well. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about, what inspired you to do something like this?
We saw a need for, especially for our young people, to, like I said, present well. We go through the process of school. We get the degrees, we get all of these things, and, we want to be able to enter the working environment feeling confident and feeling, yes, we are accomplished, but we also present well to the public, and this is that opportunity for our young persons. I mean, and it's for all women on a whole to be mindful of the way that we present ourselves and boost that confidence. It helps in the way that we're able to manage our day and manage all of our expectations during the course of the day. Yeah.
And, how has it been so far in terms of doing this? Because I know we've done it a few times in Trinidad. What are the reactions like to the people that come in and benefit from it?
Well, certainly the fact that we've been doing this for 21 years, I think that speaks for itself. We have had so many success stories of persons who, after our event on the 21st of October, so many women were posting their pictures in their outfits. They were so happy with the bargains that they were able to receive. And, it speaks to the amount of confidence that it gives people. It is not about wearing clothing that might have been worn by someone before. It is about, okay, I am able to improve on my wardrobe for almost next to nothing. Like, we are paying absolute minimal prices, and people have been extremely happy. We've always had the support, women repeating. Even before we had put out the call in September for donations, we have been receiving clothing from persons because they're very happy to be a part of the event and to support the whole essence of what the event is about.
And is it the first time it's happening in Tobago?
The absolute first time in Tobago, and of course we need to have the success of the event happening here for it to come again. So we are again pleading with persons, please donate the clothing and please come out and participate and purchase. You will not regret it.
All right, and as we're getting ready to wrap this morning's interview, just give us an idea of when and where for the ladies that are looking on and are very much interested in being a part of it. Where can...
Okay, so again, it's on Saturday, the 4th of November, 2023. And this event is happening at the Division of Community Development, Youth Development and Sport, which is number 10 Montessori Drive in Glen Road, Scarborough, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. continue to donate and please come out and support the event.
Certainly.
Yeah.
I want to thank you, Ms. Lazan, for being on with us and for sharing with us your Suit Me Up, I guess, challenge.
Yeah, it's an opportunity for you to come out and purchase clothing.
Certainly.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you so much for being on with us.
Thank you so much for the
and I wish you best of luck
Thank you so
in
much.
it. All right. And viewers, that's how we're going to wrap this morning, the Tobago Updates morning show for this morning. But of course, you know, it's not all over because we're going to go straight on into GMT. But before we go, I just want to, by way of a public service announcement, we have the ID cards of a wallet actually belonging to Mr. Mackenzie Waterman. So, Mr. Mackenzie Waterman, if you are missing your wallet, well, we have it here at Tobago Update Studio on the 3rd floor of the Port Mall. So, just come on down and collect your wallet if you are missing a wallet. And for those of you who know him, please reach out to him and let him know that we have his wallet here. So I'm pretty sure he would like to get back his documents and so on. All right, viewers. So I'm gonna go on into Tobago notes and then GMT.
It really will give the farmers of Tobago an opportunity for them to have their produce on display, right? So the people in Tobago will actually see what the farmers have been doing so far, right? So today is a great day for the farmers to have their produce out in the open so that the general public can come and view at it and if possible purchase.
Specialize in doing wooden items, and like we have the cordless blender, you know, the wooden one, the wire one, and we have all the wooden items like the dabbler. For those big outside cooking, we have the big wooden spoons. So I specialize in doing wooden items.
Well, we have okra, we have some lovely pumpkin, as you could see, as they mentioned, golden ray. We have coconut water both in the shell and in the bottle. We have juice also, as you could see, pomegranate, plus the guava, mixed pumpkin. We have plantain plus banana, and we have avocado plus plantain that you could plant. It will be just now.
You are the farmer?
I'm the farmer.
You learn so much about farming. How long have you been farming?
Well, I could at least say from the time I know myself. It's because I grew up on my grandmother, and this is where she put me to involve in agriculture. And like that is my gene, because sometimes when I'm sleeping in the night, it's like I only seen produce. So I really love it.
I didn't know about it. I just was passing by and somebody introduced me to it, and I came in and look, I get cassava, dashi, and all this kind of thing to go home and make a little soup. You know, so I appreciate what I see taking place. I see that the agricultural development is really developing in Tobago. And I would like to see much more of this taking place. And I like to see it extend worldwide.
What are you tasting?
Very good. This is guava. It's guava juice.
We accompany people from the womb to the tomb with information that guides you through life. So if you are interested in starting your family, we have relationship books, including one like this one, The Language of Love. So you will learn how to communicate generally, but especially within your family relationship. We have on health, we have on child rearing. The farmers market gives us an opportunity to help folks to know how to use the things that they buy for good health. So that is why we are here.
Everything here is locally grown, organically grown, and if it's not grown, then it's produced, the byproducts of that which we grow from the soil.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Rotisserie, mouth-watering fries, salads, combos, and specials galore. Feeling for something to eat? Come and see. Our rotisserie is seasoned to the T. Kicking chicken, masala, and jerk roast. Crispy fries made from scratch. Who do you know can beat that? Or salads freshly cut and packed. When you taste it, you'll be wanting to come back. So come check us out on number 2 Robinson Street, Uptown Scarborough, Tobago. We open on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and on Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us at 772-7443 and all social media handles at The Rotisserie Factory.
So your car break down.
Oh, no, not again.
And you're worried paying a wrecker could mean a pocket breakdown too. But when you're insured with Tatil, no stress.
Yes!
A Tatil motor policy has lots of benefits that protect your pocket, like free roadside assistance. That's free 24/7 every time, as many times as you need. Tatil, where people are people. A member of the Ansa McCall Group.
Inner Health, number 13B Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago, with over 25 years experience offering services in and not limited to microscopic blood analysis, reflexology, and the sale of a wide range of organic herbal products used to supplement thyroid, lymphatic, heart, kidney, and brain health, and the male and female reproductive systems. Come and chat with us. Remember, your health is your wealth. Jimmy's Holiday Resorts has 1, 2, and 3 bedroom, fully self-contained apartments located at the heart of Crown Point. Minutes walk to the popular beaches, restaurants, bars, and the airport. Enjoy our amazing amenities such as fully equipped apartments, complete with Wi-Fi, AC, TV, and a pool, and a mini-mart on the compound. Call 639-8292 or 8929. Jimmy's Holiday Resorts is your family's home away from home.
Wait, I do even have suit and thing for this wedding. Why getting them things?
Well, the Portmore right over there.
Alright, thanks.
The Portmore, where the varieties are large from your favorite stores, from restaurants to salons and from clothing stores to jewelry stores, located at Sanctus Hill, Scarborough, Tobago. Telephone number is 868-334-6589.
Wow. I didn't expect to see you here. Look good.
Thanks. It's all because of you and Portmore. But here now I'm going to have with you. You want to join me?
Yeah, that's okay.
Alright.
Beat the rush and come on down to the Portmore.
Yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Na 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 na. Good morning, Tobago. Na 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 na. Wake up with Candace and Denasia. Let's go. It's a brand new.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region, with the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine. I am Candace Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds. Secretary of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities, and Transportation, Tashia Barros, expects the second carnival to cost less than the budgeted $12.5 million. The carnival, which took place last weekend, featured traditional masquerade and a lively parade of bands. Barros is cautiously optimistic about the budget compliance with the final calculation spending. She praised this year's carnival for increased local participation, improved event quality, and a blend of traditional and contemporary elements. Additionally, she was pleased by the iconic Minstrel characters' participation and felt that this year's carnival surpassed the previous one in terms of quality and overall experience. Meanwhile, technical advisor in the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, Dr. Charleston Thomas, rejected criticism from NCC Chairman Winston Gypsy Peters regarding this year's Tobago October Carnival. During an interview in Scarborough, Peters stated that the NCC's role in organizing the event was minimal, emphasizing the NCC's involvement in production was limited as no one sought their assistance. Meanwhile, Thomas emphasized Tobago's principal responsibility for its carnival and noted that their request to the NCC with road management and costume transportation had gone unanswered. And finally, Minority Leader Calvin Morris, in a recent post on social media, expressed satisfaction with and support for the organizers of the recently concluded Tobago October Carnival. Morris acknowledged while Tobago's Carnival was only in its second year with room for improvement, the Carnival has the potential to become a significant event on the global calendar and a valuable source of foreign exchange for the island and the nation. However, his hope is that feedback about the carnival will be heeded and collaboration will be embraced for mutual benefit, and necessary adjustments will be made to enhance and expand the experience in 2024. And that concludes the news in 90 seconds. And viewers, we are continuing, of course, in that same vein of talking about carnival. Our conversation this morning would start with the security of Carnival and how do things go on the road in terms of organization and making sure things are safe so that people can enjoy themselves without any worries. Well, we are being joined this morning by ACP Collis Hazel, who was also the goal commander for the Tobago Carnival events for this year. Good morning and welcome to you.
Hi, good morning, Candice. Good morning, Tobago, and good morning to all the viewers that are looking to this program this morning.
All right. So from your perspective as the goal commander and the one in charge and making sure everything was safe, was it safe? Did we have an incident-free carnival?
So I can say with all assurance that the carnival was indeed the safest carnival that has taken place in Trinidad and Tobago. I can safely say that this is the last carnival in the Carnival of the Caribbean and the other regions that other parts of the world that celebrates Carnival. So we are ending this Carnival in with a level of safety, and I'm certain that that is good for the trajectory of going forward for Carnival 2024 in the National Carnival celebrations.
All right, so just give us an idea of, just what it took in terms of the organization of Carnival, because there was something done a little bit differently this year, of course, led by yourself in terms of making sure you met with the stakeholders and so on. So just give us a little synopsis.
That's Candice, yes. They definitely, if you're doing something over and over, you ought to be able to explore what you're doing and examine it in every way and to see how it's working and evaluate it. And this year, the strategy that we would have adopted is one in which we understand who we are working for and have a baseline understanding of how things are to be successful. So from the onset, the police took the opportunity of ensuring that we are responsible for the safety of all within this celebration. One has to understand what is Carnival. Carnival for us is an opportunity for revelry of the culture of a people working together on a stage and a theatrical platform. And therefore, critical among that is the whole idea of safety and security of persons. People want to feel safe. people want to enjoy with a level of safety. So our approach, first of all, was to meet with all concerns. And in that stakeholder meetings, we focus our attention to listen to the concern of the people, listen to the organizers, listen to the persons who are responsible for staging the carnival. So we met with our promoters, we met with our band leaders association, we met with the churches who have been involved, we met with the other members of the arms of security and hear their concerns in how it will impact them in some way that we can be able to treat with this issue. But critical among that is for us to understand that with that of staging this event, there were some identified risks that were associated with this. And if we are talking security and safety, we ought to ensure that we focus our attention primarily on how are we able to manage, to lessen, to reduce, and to mitigate those risks that will affect the functioning of the carnival. And significantly, that was the responsibility that the police and all its stakeholders working with were involved in. And how did we do that? In our stakeholder meetings, we would have identified those risks, and we looked at an opportunity of how we can mitigate those risks through establishing a tabletop meeting where we identify scenarios that would definitely, we feel that is most likely to happen, and how train everyone in terms of what would be our response, how would we treat with that. And Candice, may I say to you and the rest of Tobago, having people like Alan Stewart, a person with all respect in terms of dealing with safety and security, and the whole team of persons around you. You had outside of TEMA, you had the fire services, you have the members of the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Service, my other police colleagues from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, you had the Port Authority, you had the Airport Authority, you had WASA, you had TNTech, and I want to shout out here TNTech. TNTech spent the entire operational period in the Joint Operation Command Center with us, just to make sure that there was power, and of course, carry lines and all of that throughout. We want to thank TSTT. While we sat at the Joint Operation Command Center, we were able to see everything live and proper footage coming from those cameras. So thanks to TSTT, thanks to Digicel and all the players who were involved in treating with that. Even Customs and Excise. All these players played a pivotal role in ensuring that should something happen on the day in our joint command, we don't have to be run around the road. The think tank was right around the table where we could have analyze, validate, and to make sure that we put a strategy in place that can bring forward the success of the people. And that is what significantly we have been managing over this period to make sure that things work. And I can say from all assurances that things really work the way we wanted to. I think the message was sent, because inside of all of this, there is what we call an opportunity to treat, where, quite rightly, Carnival has an economic value. And therefore, people who want to commit crime will find an opportunity even to come inside here, not to jump and revel and have a good time, but basically to come in to see how we can rob, how we can create offense. And so our strategic patrols that we would have been earmarking, implementing all the time, our exercises, that our lockdown exercises before, in terms of locking down the city, before and ensuring that we do raids and searches in the beginning, making sure that no one come into the venue with knives and cutlasses and guns and other weapons, was strategic in terms of ensuring that the safety existed. So our appeal outside there for the persons who were bent on doing crime, I think they listened the warning and they abided so that we did not have the opportunity in terms of to be affected by those in terms of crime. And of course, one has to commend the masqueraders. One has to commend the spectators. One has to commend those persons who were involved in the crime. The Tobago House of Assembly under the Secretary, Ms. Tasha Boris, in terms of continue to work with us and providing the support and the resources for national security to ensure that we were successful.
Now, what about in terms of, just the reception on the day itself, or on the days, I should say, amongst the stakeholders? I know we had a conversation before, and there were some comments that you got from them. So I just want to share, what was the feeling like from them?
Okay, so basically, one of my focus in terms of is to hear the views, to get the feedback as well from the people. And hence the reason I took the opportunity on Carnival Day to walk the street, to patrol the street, and to meet the spectators, meet the persons involved. And the response in terms of what we are receiving, one is to provide what I would call police legitimacy and visibility. Meeting all and sundry, the vendors, the masqueraders, the normal on viewers, everyone, and to hear their view. And basically that went along with hearing a level of congratulations. The police, the arms, the protective services were doing, and the defense force, we were doing our work. People felt comfortable. People felt safe. People felt secure. There was this level of, after 7, that you had people still clad in costumes outside there, jumping up in times of Scarborough. It was something that we welcomed. I think one of the change that definitely we had to make when we look at it was to ensure that no way was I prepared to ensure that Carnival finished at 6 o'clock in town. Come on, we now come out. How can we think about bringing end to a show at 6 o'clock? And therefore, if we want persons to properly enjoy the time and have a good time in a safe, we need to understand who we are dealing with. And hence the reason you didn't anger the population by just making them feel that, okay, well, we cut off the highway at this time and we shut down the function. That does not satisfy it. I think people, and that's what we taught about, listening to the people and getting an understanding of who are our clients and how can we best serve them. So it's not about exercising a level of power by not listening to your audience. The audience is listening to your clients. And hence the reason why we got that respect, because Carnival essentially manage behaviors. You are managing behaviors of people. And if we go back to the whole theory of from the behavioral school of psychology, behavior breeds behavior. And if you are able to allow people to express themselves in a way in which they can be satisfied and conform with the elements of the law, they will comply. And therefore, there is no need for you to go there and with a heavy-hand policing methods of trying to ensure that you are telling, don't do this and don't do that. It is about how you treat the people. You will get that response from them. Respect is earned, and we ought to be able to show that. So what we have brought on board is a new level of policing, a policing that talks about community and a stakeholder engagement, in which we are prepared to listen to the members of the community. And what our plan focus on is what we call CEPTED, crime through environmental design, an opportunity where we explore the environment, see who are our targets, see who are the people, and work with the people. And that was what brought that success in terms of meeting out with our stakeholders, engaging them, and getting a clearer understanding of how we can police this island without any level of difficulty that we could not manage.
Now, what about in terms of just some of the minor things during the carnival event? I mean, I noticed, for instance, that there was still a lot of glass bottles around, even though we were not supposed to have glass bottles within the events.
I think the idea is one has to be realistic in terms of how we treat with that. And while the ban on glass bottles were there, one has to understand that some of the product, we met with Karim and we met with who has most of the bottle beverage. We had reached out to Angostura as well. And basically, when you are doing these proclamations and you are making these regulations, so to speak, one has to understand in the context of which we're doing it. Within Trinidad and Tobago, in the space of Trinidad and Tobago, not all these produce are done in plastic. We ourselves are trying to get away from plastic. So at one hand, we are telling them no glass bottles, but yet still we don't want plastic in order to pollute our environment. What the suppliers did for us is that they reduced, Carib particularly, they reduced the supply that came to Tobago and provide most tin products. However, Angostura did not have that amount of their products that comes within plastic
or tins.
Or tins. And therefore, in somehow or the other, you would have found that you would have had some Angostura bottles and other products coming in. I think that the idea is that the citizens manage themselves well in terms of it, because really the ban is not to be punitive. It is just to ensure that we lessen the opportunity of the risk where people can pelt a bottle and injure someone. And that's the whole thing behind it. How do we manage all these bottles in the space which the bottle becomes a weapon? And we are trying to reduce weapon from within this space of operation. So I think I still would want to say thank you to the consumers who, at the end of the day, did not dispose them in properly and still utilize the cups and glasses and so forth. And we did not have any issue where bottle was a challenge to national security.
Okay, and then what about in terms of, just the police presence itself during the carnival events? There were some complaints that the police vehicles driving through the crowd was not always the best decision, at least in their view. What would you say to that?
The road made to walk on Carnival Day. And therefore, that police visibility and legitimacy of which I speak, one would want to choose what's the best mode of transportation in terms of treating with that. The road is already small. However, there was some idea that, one, we utilize an opportunity where we had to refresh our officers, the whole security apparatus on Carnival. So at some point in time, we had to utilize our vehicles in order to take refreshment, take water, take Lucozade, take the different beverages for our officers in order to refresh them, because they were on the route in the excess of 6 hours. So you had to find, at some point in time, you will find vehicles, marked and unmarked vehicles going in there in order to treat with our officers. And of course, the element, we somehow or the other, the patrols were on foot, but that I know that disruption clearly would have offended persons. But like anything else, you still had an opportunity to enjoy themselves.
And there was also a concern raised by the president of Tobago, Ms. Beverly Ramsey Moore, in regards to the police presence that was not there for the pan and powder. And there was some, I'm not sure if there's been miscommunication or so on, but would you be able to just give a perspective on what really happened and why the streets were not blocked off in the way that Tobago would have preferred?
All right. So I would not say that the police was not there for the Tobago. The police was not there the time that Tobago in order to begin the show. And the show of itself was hindered by a heavy downpour of rain. But like anything else, I too would want to see that a tremendous amount of effort was made on my part and on the division's part in order to secure, last minute, to secure policing for that event. The fact is that we had so many activities pre-carnival during the week. And of course, even leading up to that day, we had a high volume of police officers to manage other events. And so that hindered the opportunity of us finding adequate police officers to start that show. May I say to you, this was a show that the police officers was not detailed to perform the duty as a normal duty. This is what is considered an extra duty. Extra duty can only be worked by off-duty police officers. We do not put police officers who are, we cannot put police officers who are on active duty, because this is actually something that has to be paid for outside of their normal earnings. And of course, so we are balancing the idea of persons coming forward in order to treat with that. And that is where we had the challenge based on the volume of activities that we had to supply officers. Other officers preferred to operate in for other events, and that was a challenge. But I must say it to my good friend Beverly Ramsey Moore that it was not with any intent that, the police seems to be unpatriotic. We are part of Tobago. The police, if you look in the competition, you'll see where we won in the competitions in Port of Spain. The Police Youth Club have we have bands. My own Police Youth Club in Roxborough is a part of Tobago with our steel band. So we understand the culture. We understand in terms of working with that area. But clearly, I would say that that is one of the areas we are going to pay attention to next year. In terms of my own estimation of it, is that I feel confident that perhaps that pan activity can now be joined with the activity on the Saturday night that can give more an opportunity for more an activity that would allow more participation on the street. Because what you want in this street theater is a constant flow of bands and so coming forth. You don't want to be there looking 1 hour pass and you had some bands going up and then the next hour you're waiting in a lull. So perhaps that activity may very well work well on the Saturday night in town, joining with the night mass, so that we have sufficient things on the road. Because remember, we have to utilize the security well.
Certainly.
We have to be able to utilize the security well, and I think in that way it will lessen the costs on the organizers as well in terms of treating with it. So it may be of good use that while we're stretching out the event, we can have compacted event that can see people to get a better viewage. Because certainly you as a television carrier, you don't want to know that you don't have anything to fill that lull.
No, we don't like lulls.
You do. Certainly not.
Certainly not. All right, I want to thank you, but we're not quite done with ACP Colors Hazel yet. So we're going to take a quick break and be right back, so please don't go anywhere.
Tobago updates.
You know, who would I ever believe, Jessica could take care of a child,
I know, right? I'm a kinship foster parent to my nephew Malik.
Papa, you remind me of my grandmother, when she used to take care of my cousins.
If I didn't step in, I don't know where he would have ended up. Plus, I get support from Children's Authority, training, and counseling.
But Jessica, you're not married?
That doesn't matter once you have a safe home and you're related to the child. think you're good.
So they just gave money to do this?
Yeah, they do give me some money.
So, Auntie, you can buy a Lamborghini for me?
Oh, I'm so sorry, Malik, but that money's to take care of you. Okay, smubble up is.
I will not try. Mommy, you can buy.
No.
Wait, I didn't even finish my sentence.
About Lamborghini, you could get lamb stew for lunch.
Auntie Jessica could only come when you come in, because all them does do is talk people business.
Malakai, I'm only going on the bed.
But mommy, the boy don't even live here.
Yeah, go to your bunkers.
What? Bunkers? Where's that?
I think I'm getting pretty good at this.
Yeah. Hey.
Tobago updates. Na 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 na. Good morning, Tobago. Na 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 na.
Well, welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Update, viewers. We are continuing our conversations this morning with ACP Collis Hazel as we talk about the Tobago Carnival weekend. And of course, I mean, Mr. Hazel, ACP Hazel was also the gold commander, the one that was in charge of planning and making sure that all the stakeholders were properly engaged so that, you know, we could have the best system in place for hosting Tobago Carnival. Now, I also want to speak about just the wrecking part of things from the police. And I know that there were some vehicles wrecked on Juve morning and so on. So I just want to just address, you know, what happened. And there were some changes made to the wrecking system. So tell us a little about that.
Okay, so wrecking is part of the traffic apparatus in order to deal with persons who will not comply in terms of the road safety regulations that we have out there. We did have, I think my records show that we wrecked over 7 vehicles during that Carnival Juve morning celebration, but clearly it was an opportunity where they were errand drivers who are not abiding, and therefore one of the areas, remember we had that new route that takes us onto Orange Hill way up, and that was an area where I looked at it, and if there were if a vehicle was not properly leave it unattended on that road, the traffic congestion would have been impacting all around. So we had to treat with that with perhaps some people who left their vehicles there for over a long, considerable time to remove them to have traffic flowing properly. However, we knew on Carnival Saturday, Sunday in particular, that we could not operate the wrecker because of the situation in which we were operating with. So we will allow people some level of leniency to make sure that they park and get in, because Scarborough does not have all the car parks in order to hold those cars. However, we had made arrangements and had patrols even at the Dwight York Stadium and of course the parade ground, so that people can park, and we had patrol our cars to secure those, but those weren't utilized. But I must say it is all about the whole idea of policing the road and ensuring that people comply. This was another show of professionalism by our citizens, because we did not encounter any road traffic accidents of that nature. And of course, our road traffic officers were outside there doing breathalyzers. And we did have, very early in the morning, we got a person who was beyond the limit in weighing, exceeding the breath test, and that person was arrested and charged in terms of treating with that. But all in all, it was geared towards understanding the whole, understanding the dynamics in which we are working with, understanding the whole event and how we police and manage the event.
All right, and then of course, did we have a lot of roadblocks and so on during the carnival season? What can you tell us in terms of, you know, tickets, arrests that were made, and that sort of thing?
Okay, so Candice, that was a strategy that, of course, one, looked at in terms of ensuring that we weed out the elements that can later come as a surprise to us. So those roadblocks were strategically organized to ensure that all in and around Scarborough, we block every entrance of persons getting in. So if you were coming into Scarborough, we had to sanitize the area. And sanitize the area, we were looking for persons. We seized several knives, ice picks, cutlasses, all of that people were carrying in their vehicles. And therefore, that gave us the opportunity to ensure that the Juve remained safe. And so that persons who had a legitimate reason, perhaps you probably may have been a laborer, and you forget your cutlass in your trunk or something like that, it was labeled and tagged, and therefore you could have come back to it. But clearly we weren't allowing any weapon. So that is why we strategically allow those raids at the perimeter of entrance to Scarborough to ensure that we create that level of safety for persons not getting into the capital in order to treat with punks on persons with those weapons.
All right, great. And at the end of it all, just looking back, like, how do you feel about just the way that everything went, and how can your strategies combine with just Tobago's overall marketing drive for tourism?
Thank you. And really and truly, I must say to you that this plan is a plan that we just didn't wake up and just jump out there in terms of our policing. Our policing opportunity under our leader, our astute leader, Commissioner Earl Christopher, is that in every event like this, we organize, there is a goal commander that is appointed, and under the goal commander, there are teams in terms of execution. So the goal commander will go out and work. But the goal commander has a responsibility of providing the commissioner with a plan, and so that we put a public safety and security operation plan in place. This plan had to be approved by the executive of the TTPS, and clearly this was the plan of our Tobago plan. But within this plan, we were cognizant of the view that what Carnival meant to Tobago, what this other tourism product meant to the island of Tobago. And we carefully analyze and we look back at what happened in the past. So we explore the whole idea, evaluation coming out of what was known Tobago Fest. And we realized that Tobago Fest came and it was marred with violence. And therefore, who was responsible for violence? The police. They are responsible for making people safe. So that is why we took it from the onset. Said to the secretary, we are taking charge of this carnival and this carnival security. So we must not be blamed at the end of the day. So we held to that responsibility in a highest order. Outside of that, we understand how important it is to this small tourism industry that we maintain. If anyone coming in here as an assistant commissioner of police to manage this island and don't have a clear understanding of the impact of crime and criminality on this volatile tourism industry, you are not ready for this job. And clearly, as a Tobagonian, I understand clearly how these issues can affect our industry. So we planned with that, with a focus of understanding that we need to make sure that safety was paramount for everyone. Because you had tourists coming into this island, and at the end of the day, if we had to sell our carnival, if we had to ensure that we remain an island to be reckoned with in terms of what we produce, safety becomes the first priority. And hence the reason I echoed that. And we did not just look at that. We, in our assimilation plan for the carnival, we assimilated an exercise that gave an undertaking that should something happen to a tourist during Carnival, how the responders, how the security apparatus will treat with that. And we were able to work with that well, and we reach out for persons to understand all of that. Even the opportunity, I had the opportunity to train the road marshals on the road, so that we did not left no stone unturned in terms of dealing with the idea that our product of security needed to be, or the machinery needed to be well oiled, so that we treat with each and every one. We went as far as we had working with the public health, because food poisoning is critical. So we had our food service officers, we had meeting with them, they were working with the team outside it, so that we had everything to looking at mitigating all the risk factors. So I want to say to us now, and the police in this era of policing, it's not a police that just come and talk about extra duty and how much you will put out outside. It's a police who understands the event and work with the organizers of the event to ensure that there is a win-win. A win-win of the event is to ensure that safety is paramount, to bring everybody on board and to make sure that the events become a success.
All right, I want to thank you so much, ACP Carlos Hazel, for your work, first of all, and then, of course, for you being here this morning and for giving us a synopsis as to what happened and how the operations worked.
Thank you very much, and it is a pleasure always that I share the information, and I look forward for us continuing that trajectory, a safe Carnival, but we can continue with a safe Tobago as well. Have a pleasant morning all.
All right, great. Well, viewers, we're not quite done yet with GMT, so please don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this short break.
To a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies.
Hey, hello guys, welcome. Come have a seat. Oh, this is so stylish and I love the fabric. Darlings, you must tell us where you got your new furnishings.
We got them locally at Standard. They've got new chic European furniture, crafted from high quality material.
Oh, Standard?
No, it's Standard, their brand new Hive collection.
Experience luxurious European furniture at a price you will love. The Hive collection, now exclusively available at Standard.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported. rotisserie, mouth-watering fries, salads, combos, and specials galore. Feeling for something to eat? Come and see. Our rotisserie is seasoned to the T. Kicking chicken, masala, and jerk roast. Crispy fries made from scratch. Who do you know can't beat that? Or salads freshly cut and packed. When you taste it, you'll be wanting to come back. So come check us out on number 2 Robinson Street, Uptown Scarborough, Tobago. We open on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. And on Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us at 772-7443 and all social media handles at The Rotisserie Factory.
Yeah. Hey.
Tobago updates. Na 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 na. Good morning, Tobago. Na 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 na. Wake up with Candace.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, viewers. We are now being joined by Mr. Christopher Nathan, who is the CEO of Cocoa Velvet International, and of course, he's also the director of Making Style program. Good morning and welcome to you.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
And this morning we are talking about, first of all, we're going to get into the delegates and so on that you are out there selecting for Miss Trinidad and Tobago.
Miss Tobago.
Miss Tobago. Right, so let's get into it.
All right. So it all started in 2019 when I relocated Tobago to Tobago and brought Cocoa Velvet International Fashion and Model Management's operations here. Cocoa Velvet has been around for 25 years in Port of Spain, and we are an international company where our models work in Paris, New York, London, Milan, LA, all over the world, all Trinidadian models. So I decided that once we are now here in Tobago, because my mother is Tobagonian and Grenadian, and I'm back here to my roots.
Nice.
Yes. So I decided that it's important that we establish a crew and a cast of talent here in Tobago so that when we have jobs for Cocoa Velvet, we do not have to bring Trinidadians in to do those jobs. And we feel that there's enough talent here in Tobago to do all the various jobs, such as professional fashion models, fashion stylists, makeup artists, hairstylists, and all the other services that we need for events. And there are a few marquee events that Cocoa Velvet has been doing over the years. One is Style Week, which was our first fashion week in Trinidad and Tobago. We also have Making Style and Top Model Trinidad and Tobago. All those events now will be done here in Tobago. And they are fashion tourism events where people come from all over the world to our events. So in order for us to have these professionals, I decided to do, that's a picture of Making Style, the original Making Style, back in 2006, when we launched the UTT's fashion program.
With Miss Kanisha Tom.
Indeed. So we decided to do some recruiting to get a cast of professional fashion models, one, and to get fashion stylists and makeup artists and all the other services that we need. So we approached the Division of Education, Research and Technology, asking permission to go to the secondary schools to recruit young people who are interested in careers in the creative industries. And that approval was granted by the secretary and the school supervisors, 3. So we decided in October that we would attend the schools, visit the schools, and we interacted with close to 3,000 students, huge amount. And there was tremendous interest. And out of that 3,000 students, we shortlisted 350 who we felt were serious and had the necessary skills that we were looking for and met the criteria, etc. So those 350 students were interviewed during the month of October. And we also had open castings where people who were not at secondary school, who were interested in the program, would also come to the castings. During that time, we approached the Miss World Trinidad and Tobago organization and asked for an agreement that one of our participants in the workshop would represent Tobago at the next Miss World Trinidad and Tobago contest.
Yes.
And in doing so, we decided we'd have a local contest, a regional contest here in Tobago to make it fair. So that is how Miss Tobago 2024 came about. So we did screenings every month in October, and we were able to find 12 delegates who fit the criteria for Miss World, because of course, if you're going to have a Miss Tobago pageant and the winner is going to Miss World Trinidad and Tobago, and we want the winner to win Miss World.
Certainly.
Yes, Miss World Trinidad and Tobago, and go to Miss World wherever it is in the world next year to represent Trinidad and Tobago. We have to follow the criteria of Miss World.
Right.
So we got 12, and we're looking for 6 more. We want 18 delegates, and this is an opportunity for delegates all over Tobago to be trained in deportment, communication skills development, social and corporate etiquette. So it's professional and personal development. And at the end of the day, all the delegates who have represented Tobago and Trinidad and Tobago have gone on to successful careers. So we're talking Gisela Ron West, Wendy Fitzwilliam,
Kanisha Tom.
Penny Commission,
Yes.
Kanisha Tom, and all the others. So it's an opportunity for the young ladies living all over Tobago to be trained by Gisela Ron West, Miss World 1986, who's coming to Tobago 2 or 3 times a month for the next 3 months to train the delegates. So if you think you have what it takes to represent Tobago, we're looking for you. So send us WhatsApp at our hotline 620-2316, or send us an email at cocovelvetinternational@gmail.com. You can get more information concerning requirements and delegate criteria on our Instagram and Facebook at Coco Velvet International, because you have to be between 16 and 26 years. You have to be unwed and no children in order to enter Miss World Trinidad and Tobago. So today we are having the launch of the workshop, Tobago Youth Creative Arts Workshop, and we're also launching the Miss Tobago Beauty Pageant at the Scarborough Library Auditorium. So I'd like to thank at this point in time the Tobago Library Services for being our venue sponsor. They'll be hosting the workshop, and of course the launch today of the Miss Tobago. I'd also like to thank the Secretary for Education, Research and Technology, Assemblywoman Zarisha Hackett. I'd like to thank Councillor Tasha Burris, Secretary for Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation. I'd like to thank the Director of Youth Development, who have all supported the Tobago Youth Creative Arts Workshop. So let me take a breather here.
Certainly, you said quite a lot. I mean, this is such an amazing opportunity. And for the young ladies here, I just want to say, in case you don't know who Kanisha Tom, you've heard that name come out a while, but she was once our delegate from Tobago who represented us at Miss World competition. She was the Trinidad and Tobago Miss World competition delegate, and she
in 2004.
In 2004,
and again she went in 2006 to Miss Universe, representing Trinidad and Tobago.
So she represented us twice at the 2 of the biggest pageant competitions in the world.
Yes, and I would say that Kanisha Tom is your most successful beauty pageant queen. Who was represented Tobago magnificently. So for that reason, we reached out to her. She's now living in Kenya.
Yes.
She works with the United Nations, and we've asked her to be a big sister mentor for the workshop. So she's online, interacting with the participants, giving them advice, and encouraging them, particularly the Miss World Trinidad and Tobago candidates, how to prepare themselves for the contest.
And folks, I mean, so this is an opportunity for us to be able to get back there in the state. I mean, we have Kanisha there. She's going to be working with us. Of course, your organization, your agency, who was very instrumental in making sure she got there.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, tell me about just those opportunities. Just let's dive into that conversation a little bit about what's there for our young ladies after being a part of something like this.
And young men, and don't forget the boys.
Young men, of course, certainly.
So let's talk about that, because I had 3 bitter disappointments. I met 2 ladies and 1 young man at Goodwood High School and at Mason Hall Secondary School, who I can sign tomorrow to an agency in Paris or Milan.
Wow.
They fit the criteria perfectly, the right height, the right body structure, the right attitude, the right personality. However, when I interacted with their parents, the parents said absolutely not.
Oh my.
Which was such a disappointment, because I prodded further, and the parents told me that it was for religious reasons. So I want to talk a little bit about that Tobago, because professional fashion modeling is not what it used to be. And there are certain misconceptions, particularly with older people who have an idea and the stigma attached to modeling. It's not that anymore. And furthermore, Coco Velvet International has 13 models working between Paris, New York, London, and Milan. And we have never had a situation where they were involved in any negative activity, anything that was unprofessional, anything that was undesirable. We ensure that our models who work internationally are well prepared holistically. We ensure that they have the right attitude and they're very professional when they're working, so they know what is right and wrong. So we know that there are negative elements out there in the fashion industry in terms of drug abuse and alcohol abuse and sexual abuse, but our 13 Trinidadians and Tobagonians who are working there have never had that incident. So the parents who have allowed their 100 youngsters to participate in the Tobago Youth Creative Arts Workshop, I want to assure you that these youngsters are going to be given a 3-month intensive program, which will include corporate and social etiquette, communication skills development, deportment, hygiene, all the rest of the professional and personal development that young people need and require in order to make good choices. And when they go out there to work for clients, they will know what is right and wrong. For example, there are situations where models complain that photographers touch them inappropriately when they're doing shoots. There are situations where models go on a shoot and they're asked to take off their clothes and do nude shoots, and that wasn't in the contract. Our models know what is right and wrong, and they will know when something is inappropriate. So parents be assured that they will be trained accordingly. There are opportunities here for models to work for the very top designers around the world. We have models from Coco Velvet who are Trinidadians working for Christian Dior, Versace, Giorgio Armani, Ralph Lauren, Burberry, Yves Saint Laurent, the top designers in the world. And they do very well financially as well. So, in fact, one of our models in her first year of working in Paris was able to buy a house for her mother. And she came from a very humble background, and they were struggling. And I was so touched and happy that she was able to provide her mother with a home after just 1 year of modeling internationally. So the opportunities here for youngsters who fit the requirements for international modeling to have a successful career. I want to say here now that models are actually very special.
Oh, yes.
Yes, because they're 1 in 500,000. An international model who fits the criteria, you will find 1 out of 500,000 people. That's why they are treated like divas. You heard about Naomi Campbell and her reputation. They're very special, indeed. So when we select models here and send them out to work internationally, they are very special. The criteria for male modeling, for example, you have to be between 6 feet and 6 feet 3, a slim, proportionate physique, and of course, the right attitude and all the training. For a woman, for a female model, the minimum height is 5 feet 9 inches, and they can't be taller than 6 feet because the garments are made in sample sizes for the designers. And if you're too tall, it wouldn't fit you. If you're too short, it wouldn't fit you. People often wonder why models have to be skinny. And that's a sore point.
Yes, that is certainly a sore point.
Yes. So the models, when they're doing Fashion Week, for example, the collection is a sample collection made by the designer, and it's made for a size 0 to a size 2 model. So if you are a size 4 to a size 6 model, you won't fit the sample garment, and they can't use you for the catwalk. That is changing slowly but surely. The industry is becoming more diverse and inclusive, and we're now seeing successful plus-size models who are size 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, even up to 24 on catwalks for the fashion weeks, but they're a minority. So you may have like 2 plus-size models out of a cast of 60 models at the Fashion Week show for a top designer. We, however, whenever we are doing projects, Coco Velvet International, for example, for 10 years, we were responsible for the Falls at West Malls fashion presentations, which included making MasterCard Fashion Month and Flair and Haute holidays. And we always ensured that there was a cast of plus-size models. In 2009, Coco Velvet had a workshop here in Tobago. I don't know if you know about that.
I was not in the country back then. So.
Okay, so our first workshop here, Tobago Fashion Workshop, was in 2009, and we had over 60 young Tobagonians participate, and there was a section for plus size and a section for mature models as well. So we had a lot of housewives come out and did the training, and they were very happy to learn about makeup and hairstyle and skincare and wardrobe management. And some of them actually became professional models, the plus size models. And then we had Tobago Top Model in 2009, and out of which we were able to get about 10 students from Tobago who were interested in becoming fashion designers. And I was able to recruit them for the Bachelor of Fine Arts in Fashion Design program at UTT. At the time, I was the program administrator at UTT's Fashion Academy. And there were several who did the diploma program, and they're now successful designers, including Delia Allen, Diana Quashie, Tonya Ramsey, Oda Jack. These are all successful Tobagonian designers who came to UTT to study fashion.
And I mean, you gotta think about it. If we have these amazing fashion designers, and we have quite a lot more now, the fashion industry in Tobago is growing quite a lot. We need our models to be able to professionally put it out there on the stage. So it's not just having excellent clothing, but also having the models from Tobago.
And let's talk about that, because one of the projects for Coco Velvet in 2025 is Style Week Tobago. We're bringing Style Week to Tobago. It's called Style Week Tobago Caribbean Arts and Fashion Festival. And we plan to do it on Ash Wednesday. And the rationale is a lot of people who go to Trinidad for Carnival on Ash Wednesday come to Tobago to rest. And we think it's an excellent opportunity for us to have a week of fashion and craft and accessories and fashion market, so that when the international visitors come to Tobago on Ash Wednesday in 2025, we will have a market for them to buy locally designed jewelry, craft, art, and fashion to take back to their homes wherever they live. So we have approached the THA to work with the Tobago Tourism Agency Limited to develop a cruise for this Style Week Tobago. So we are hoping that we're able to attract a cruise line somewhere in the world who would bring a cruise ship to Tobago full of 2,000 fashionistas who will go to Trinidad first for Carnival Monday and Tuesday, and then on Ash Wednesday come to Tobago for a week of Style Week Tobago. So there'll be fashion shows during the week. They'll go to Pigeon Point, they'll go to Nyland Pool, they'll go to No Man's Land, they'll take a drive through the rainforest and go to Charlottesville and enjoy all that Tobago has to offer.
Certainly a lot of great things happening in the fashion industry. And again, viewers, if you or you know somebody who is interested in modeling and fits the criteria and could be our next Kanisha Tom, get connected. Again, just the contact details.
Okay. So remember, today is the last day for the screening. So a candidate who is interested in entering Miss World, Trinidad and Tobago, can come to the Scarborough Library Auditorium anytime between 1 and 4 p.m. to register for Miss Tobago Beauty Pageant. Otherwise, you can contact us via email at cocovelvetinternational@gmail.com or send us a message on WhatsApp or mobile. The hotline is 620-2316. So we're talking Miss Tobago Beauty Pageant, which takes place on the 4th of February at the Shore Park Cultural Complex. And we are keeping the cost of the tickets really low because we want all the students who are participating in the workshop to be able to invite all their classmates to come to support them. So the tickets are just $30. Where did you hear of an event such as this caliber for $30 entry? We'll also have a VIP entry, which is specially reserved ticket for $100 for the event, which we call Making Style. So it's an evening of elegance, beauty, and sophistication come February 4th at the Shore Park.
A lot of great things to look forward to. And I know Mr. Nathan will be back to share with us some more. All right, so viewers, I want to thank you so much for being on with us. And thank you for joining us this morning. It was a wonderful morning with you, and we would see you again tomorrow.
Rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise.